campaign. With me now, Rubio supporter, Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. It was a very narrow victory for Donald Trump in Virginia. Rubio was so close. I want to get into the details, but I just want to ask you, do you think that Kasich, for example, hurt Rubio in Virginia?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, he has a right to be in the race, but definitely he hurt Rubio in Virginia and some other places. I mean, you know, I don't see Kasich's path to victory. He can win Ohio maybe, but beyond that, it's tough to get to 1,200 delegates when he's banking on one state. So, yeah, I think it was a little hurtful.
So you just heard Stephen Miller, who is a senior advisor to Donald Trump. He was on with me just a few moments ago. What do you make of what he told me there?
Well, he sounds like Donald Trump. I mean, it's hard to logic with him. And the other thing he does is tries to overtalk whenever anybody questions. Donald does that, and obviously his people do that too now. Look, I mean, this idea that, you know, donors want mass migration to drive wages down is drivel, and it's just used to try to incite people. It's not a real discussion about issues, and that's the thing. For this whole campaign has tried to talk about real issues. Donald responds with saying people sweat and have ears. I mean, it's literally been the craziest election cycle. Let's have real issue discussions. And unfortunately, the Donald doesn't seem to be willing to do that or talk about his failed businesses.
So, Congressman, what happens next for Marco Rubio? He has numerous supporters, you among them. He has to win Florida to stay in. True?
Yeah, March 15th is going to be a big date. Obviously, Florida, Illinois, where I'm from, that's Rubio country. I think Rubio wins Illinois. These are all delegate-rich states, and we're getting into the winner-take-all, fight. So, look, I'd rather be in Trump's position today than anybody else. He's definitely in a better position, but there is a strong path to victory. And I think when Republicans see that, you know, this guy that has a hard time disavowing David Duke, despite saying his name a few seconds before, is not the guy that's going to lead the Republican Party to defeat Hillary Clinton. He's the only guy that's losing handily to her in all the head-to-head matchups. Marco Rubio, on the other hand, optimistic vision, next-generation leader, and exactly the kind of person that's going to unite the conservative movement and crush Hillary in November.
So, Congressman, yesterday Donald Trump put Marco Rubio squarely in the crosshairs. The subject, in fact, is Senator Rubio's record in Florida. Here's Trump's comment.
Little Marco Rubio, let me tell you, he's been a disaster for Florida. Doesn't show up to vote, never even shows up to vote. He's got the highest miss record in the United States Senate. So Marco Rubio's done a horrible job in Florida.
What happens if Marco Rubio doesn't do well today?
Well, I think he has to get out.
So the interview obviously happening before Super Tuesday, but the point is out there. And Donald Trump is not alone in saying that Senator Rubio has not represented Florida, at least with full participation.
Oh, of course he has. I mean, he's been a great senator. He's loved there. We're going to see this. But, you know, the Donald goes back to his typical calling him little Marco Rubio. Way to go. That's really fourth-grade antics, but whatever. Maybe that's, you know, it's working for him to an extent, I guess. Let's have a real discussion about issues. He has yet to really tell us where he stands in the Middle East. He has yet to give us a plan on defeating ISIS. He's talked about giving the Middle East over to the Russians. Yeah, that's really good. That's smart, Donald. And so, like, he's not willing to have real discussions. He's just hurling insults like a fourth grader at a student council debate. Like I said, maybe it's working for him, but at the end of the day, Americans deserve way better than this for the most powerful job in the world.
All right, we will see what happens in Florida. As many people say, that is going to be the pivotal moment for Marco Rubio. In the meantime, Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.
You bet. Take care.
Congressman Kinzinger joining me there, supporter of Marco Rubio. Well, the